Hey, welcome to Film versus Movie, the podcast where we debate the cinema you hate. I'm your co-host, Belton DeLaine-Facey.
And my name's Chris Shurr.
And on this podcast, we watch the films that have been slandered, desecrated, and hacked into via 2010 laptops of public opinion.
Those laptops are terrible.
Yeah, they're just like Lenovo touchpads, whatever the default corporate job gives you when they really don't care about you.
Well, and he had 4 of them. I know he was doing important hacking, but like at some point as a writer, he probably had 3 of them and used 2 of them and then just had another one lying around.
On set, they probably had multiple on standby so that he could break them. So yeah, the film we are talking about today is Fateful Findings, a 2013 film from independent filmmaker Neil Breen.
Neil Breen is a genius.
Yeah.
Is something that no one's ever said before. It's
For context, Neil Breen is an independent filmmaker. He's a full-time architect as his day job. He uses that to fund his movies on the side. They've gotten into some film festivals, and he's garnered a bit of a cult following since then from all of that. And a lot of people compare him to Tommy Wiseau, who, of course, made The Room.
That sounds about right. They kind of have like that, oh my God, what... I was telling our producer, it's kind of like their films are ones where every single decision is the wrong one. And you're like, you didn't make one right choice. And in that is, it's interesting. You're like, how did you make everything's wrong? This is barely a film. Like,
yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I would say there are like slight differences between him and Tommy Wiseau. He's like bolder to add sci-fi elements without a budget, and I would say like based off the sex scenes, like you watch The Room, you get and like you walk out there feeling like Tommy Wiseau has never had intercourse with a woman. I feel like Neil Breen has, but if you mention the clit, he'd be like, "What's that?"
I actually, in my notes, I have, it seems like this movie was made just so Neil Breen could see a pair of boobs for the first time. Like he was like, I'm 45. I haven't seen boobs yet. That's like hard to do. And he's like, so I'm going to start making films and I'll see one set of tits per film. And then when I die at the age of 70, I'll have seen like 10.
Okay, we should probably get into the plot of the movie.
You want me to do a rundown of the plot?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it's not gonna make a lot of sense because this movie doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay, the opening is Neil Breen's character is a child with his childhood love, and they find a magical rock that is hidden under a disappearing mushroom. When they pick up the rock, a wisp of smoke shoots across the scene. Then you get a smash cut to modern day. You have an older Neil Breen, and he is struck in the road by a fancy car and left in a coma. At the end of that scene, he reaches out and the rock is there and he grabs it and now he's holding the rock. He ends up in a hospital room in a coma and they're like, he won't be able to get up for weeks. They all walk out of the room. Through the powers of the rock, he gets up within the day. And then he walks out of the room and then they cut back to the bed and there's a pair of legs standing in front of it that just disintegrates into the air. I've rewatched this movie and I still don't know what was going on.
I completely forgot about like the pair of legs in the hospital room.
Yeah, they just all right. Yeah, so he walks out, he's built different. While recovering at home, he is plagued with headaches, but refuses to take his pain pills prescribed to him by a psychiatrist who he meets in a full-sized boardroom for some reason. Like, imagine going to see your therapist and you're meeting in the same place that like executives from the show Billions would meet. Like a full long table with a lot of chairs around it.
Like, I'm just trying to imagine him looking for locations and renting the space. I'd like to imagine he found a smaller room that is like, yes, this could be a therapist's office, and then last minute they were like, oh, sorry, we gotta cancel your booking. He's like, well, what else do we have?
See, in my head, every single place, every setting you see in this movie, you are seeing a part of Neil Breen's life. Like when you see him in his house, you are actually just seeing Neil Breen's house. I don't think he got a new house.
That's most definitely his own house.
And I feel like that boardroom was the office from his architecture firm. And the carpeted, okay, this is another weird part of the setting. Every single place had carpet. They're in a hospital room with carpet. They go to a storage facility. There's carpet. Everywhere's got carpet. I just like, oh my God. Okay, I've got to keep going. So he refuses to take the pills, going so far as to flush him down the toilet at one point, which his wife then goes and scoops him out of the toilet and just swallows all of them bad boys straight out of the toilet.
Like she didn't even rinse them first.
No, just immediately tore into him. As the movie goes on, he sits in his office a lot and he's like trying to write a second book, and he's always talking to unnamed book publishers and being like, yeah, no, like, so I'm not going to write the second book. I'm just not going to write it. And I'm not going to have you guys publish it. And then he just goes like, and he like lays his head down on the laptop. And then while that's going on, it cuts to him holding the rock, and he wakes up in a room covered with black garbage bags, and he's butt naked, and he just stares at the garbage bags.
Okay, just real quick to go back to the phone call for context. Every time there's a phone call in this movie, generally in movies, they handle phone calls one of two ways. One, you either cut between the two people having conversation over a phone call, or two, you just have voiceover so that there's sound coming out of the phone that the character is responding to. They did neither of those. Every phone call is just someone holding a phone and they're just talking. No one's responding.
Yeah, I think there's one scene where they keep cutting to the other person on the phone, but they don't say anything. It's bizarre choices. Like, oh my God, just bizarre choices. So he's writing the second book. He has all these phone calls, and every single time he hangs up with one of the phone calls, he's like, I have a master's in computer science and I'm writing novels. And then he'll be like, well, good thing I'm working on that other project, which it turns out he's hacking into government databases to expose all the secret government and private secrets of the world.
Yeah, and in the movie, it's always phrased exactly how Chris just said it. Like, they don't get into this what the secrets are, the specific government databases. He's just like, I'm hacking the government and I'm gonna reveal their secrets.
He always says secrets twice. He describes them as secret adjective secrets. All that's going on. And then while that's going on, there's a B plot of his friend and his friend's wife, Jim, and Jim's wife and their stepdaughter, Emmy. His best friend's wife won't fuck his best friend, so they're fighting. That is like the whole plot, where he's just like, why won't you fuck me? And he's always shouting. Those two always shout too. Like there's a scene where they're in bed and she's like, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. So, yeah, they're fucking. And also the stepdaughter at some point comes on to Neil. She starts swimming in Breen's backyard topless. And then she goes to take a bath. And Neil's like, oh, my wife's taking a bath. And then it's his friend's stepdaughter topless. And he's like, no way, Jose, I'm not going to fuck you. And he like hands her a towel and asks her to leave. And I have a side note.
Yeah, and just so everyone's clear, this daughter character is clearly underage.
Yeah. Also, when Neil asked her, she was like, what are you doing in school? And she's like, I have an interesting report on elephants. Neil doesn't know what happens in high school. Sorry, I'm getting a little caught up because this movie is all over the place. All right. At one point, Neil hosts a party and a nurse from the hospital comes. No explanation for how she comes. And she reveals herself as the childhood love. They hold hands. He's clearly sick of his wife's drug addiction. Oh, yeah, I kind of brushed over that. His wife's addicted to drugs.
I mean, the film kind of brushed over that.
Yeah. All right. He holds her hand. Then they go on a date. The wife... Oh, wait, I missed the part with the murder. Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. Neil's friend is killed by his wife, and then Jim thinks it's a suicide. So he goes, or Neil thinks it's a suicide. So he goes like, Jim, how could you have committed suicide, Jim? It doesn't affect the movie in any way. So then the wife commits suicide while Neil and the nurse relive their magical rock day. They go back to the magical rock place. The nurse is kidnapped. Neil phases through a door and rescues her. And then at the very end, he holds a press conference where he's like, hi, guys, I'm here to expose the government and private secrets. And then the government officials come up and they're like, oh, it's horrible what we've been doing. And then they just keep killing themselves. And that's the end of the movie. Did I miss anything?
Not anything that I remember. Well, yeah, that ending was weird because like him and Leia go back, return the rock. It's like, okay, this seems like a natural place for it to end. And then the press conference is like, oh yeah, there's a whole hacking into the government thing going on here.
He's like, yeah, just put together. There's also there's this weird scene where he goes out into the desert and meets with a bunch of ghosts. And then he's like, are we going to be safe? And then they don't say anything and he comes back smiling. Oh,
I completely forgot that scene.
There's also the scene where paintings in his house very gently move. Bunch of weird stuff goes on.
As far as production, this being such a low film, there aren't a whole lot of published production stories. It's not like they had a full press junket for this. I would have loved to hear those stories though. So main thing about Neil Breen, we already covered how he gained a bit of a cult following. For this film, Neil Breen is the writer, director, producer, star, and editor, but he is also the set decorator, production designer, casting director, in charge of catering and sound design. The thing is, when like, because he's working on amateur levels, so like most people on that level, it's like they are doing these things, they just simply don't credit themselves as doing it.
Okay, well, can we just talk about the credits for a second? So when the credits roll and they get down to like editing and the different credits that aren't for actors and actresses, they keep naming companies. So be like, N&E Entertainment did the editing. And then after all those credits, there's a little thing that says any company with a B or an N in their name is a fictitious place and was actually done by Neil Breen. Why?
Like I think because like I think a lot of people have seen like that meme from Parks and Rec where Leslie did a video and it's just like directed and written by Leslie. No, edited by Leslie Knope. It's like a boom operator Leslie Knope, and I think like there is an instinct to want to avoid that, but he's still like, oh, I still want to get credit. I want to assume that that's the reason, and he didn't think like adding that at the end of the credits would be like a Marvel end credit scene where we're just like, oh shit, Thanos is here. I guess Fateful Findings in particular, after it went through some film festivals, it was distributed by Panorama Entertainment, which is just a small distributor. They mainly put it on demand and streaming sites, and I guess this is more of a fun question mark fact. Jennifer Autry, who plays Leia, the girl who is supposed to be childhood friends with Breen's character, is 32 years younger than him.
Oh, Jesus.
And apparently at no point when interviewed about this movie, they ever give an explanation why he casted someone so much younger.
I'm telling you, he just wanted to see boobs. It's the whole reason he's doing these movies. So you never found a budget for it, right?
No, I could only assume it was under five figures. Probably maybe low five figures.
Because I remember you said Double Down cost $7,000 to make, so that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
It's almost impressive.
Yeah, that is one thing. It is impressive to just make any feature length movie on that budget.
I think that more studios should bring him in just as like a consultant to try and keep costs down, where he's just like, oh yeah, Taiki, oh fuck, how do you say his Watson? Is that his last name?
Taika Waititi.
Oh, dude, I got that so wrong. But he's just like, yeah, why don't you play all the parts? You can direct, right? You can also do the VFX in the next Thor movie. I don't know where I'm going with this, honestly, but he did a good job for $7,000. I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Yeah. So now it's time for our opening statements. As Chris is going to defend this movie, would you like to start?
I can. In a time where every move, sorry, this needs a little more gravitas. It's, in a time where every movie is pushed into a highly marketable box, Fateful Findings offers you something different. There's nothing like it. Every choice made by the producers, director, and writer will never be made again, except possibly in a different Neil Breen movie, because it was made by one man and one man only, the God himself, the king of auteur style, Neil Breen.
All right. My opening statement. Neil Breen has been commendable in his ability to grow a following at his level. However, that hasn't correlated with his growth in his skill as a filmmaker. Fateful Findings is his third feature film. He really needs to find out about storyboarding, color correction, and a proper character arc. Self-grandizing with execution that's incomprehensible at times. This can't be viewed as anything more than a student film from a 50-year-old man that needs a lot more feedback.
Neil Breen is an auteur, and this is just another one of his example of one of his work. His style is unmistakable. You could be blindfolded and just listen to the dialogue, and you would be like, that is a Neil Breen movie. Not just because you hear his voice, but because nothing that's being said makes any sense. And there's nothing wrong with that. This is in part due to the fact that he'll cast himself as the lead and also handle every other part of the movie. In fact, he'll handle every single part of the movie from directing all the way down to craft services. Do you know any other filmmaker doing that? You hear Steven Spielberg doing that.
I mean, I know other filmmakers doing that because I know other independent filmmakers. Like just to make something clear, it's like when you're self-producing, it's like, yeah, that's stuff I did on my last Shurr. But it's like you have to know how to allocate resources smartly. If you don't have the resources to pull off sci-fi, maybe don't do sci-fi. And there are other things that like he could have done that just would have taken more time to improve it, like clean up a lot of the cuts and color correction. Like that's something you can do for free if you just have editing software.
Okay, what I think you're missing about his style is that I think his style is just don't edit. Don't make any corrections. Just shoot everything once and move on with your life. Don't reread scripts. Just like go for it.
And that's why we end up with like shots that are too long, because like it's something where it's like when two characters are having a conversation, it's like the shot just on one character will just linger for a full second after they're done talking and then cut to other one. It's not like it doesn't give you the feeling they're reacting to each other. And then it's like so many long pans where it's like you just see everything, and it's just like, did we really need to wait for the reveal of him sitting at his desk again?
Honestly, I've struggled with this movie because it's almost like a Rorschach test where the longer you look at it, the more you're like, oh my God, did he have intention behind this? Where in my head for like an hour last night, I was in bed, I had just smoked a bowl, I was like giving this movie a lot of thought, and I was like, what if Neil Breen just died in the car, or Dylan, the character, died in the car accident, and this is his character coping with the afterlife. And so he's coming up with these fantasies where his like drug addict ex-wife dies. And so he's like, oh man, my childhood love, and I exposed all of the world's secrets. And it kind of has this like very grand sense of what it's actually doing. And then like you think about it for another minute and you're like, I actually don't think he was doing any of that.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting you say that because, like, I did find an interview he did pertaining to Fateful findings, and he did say that, like, oh, he wants his films to be able to be interpreted differently by everyone. He's actually said he likes the fact that if you ask three different people about his film, like what they think the message was, they get three. You'll get three different answers. The thing is that that was his response to a question about the political message in this movie. I feel like that's something where it's like, if you're going to be political, you need to define what you're talking about, or else you are just saying nonsense.
You don't think the political message was clear?
Look. It's weird. This movie is overtly political, and I have no idea where Neil Breen stands. Like, he could be advocating for total anarchy. This movie also could be step one in the alt-right pipeline. And I have no idea where he wants it to go.
I think he distrusts the government. There's like a lot of messaging where he distrusts big pharma. He distrusts the government. He distrusts, I think, women a lot. Like, I don't think he likes women.
Well, yeah. Like, every woman in this movie either wants to bang him or murders their husband after not banging him. Part of me wants to really know, like, where he found all these actors, because he hasn't worked with any of the other actors in this movie in any of his other projects. So like, there has to have been some sort of a casting call for this.
Craigslist. That's like the only explanation that I find that would make any sense. Either that, or he just like went to porn studios and found like their most D-level porn people, like just like the piss and shit porn actresses. And he's like, hey, you want to not get piss and shit on? And they're like, yeah, I could like use a break from that. And he's like, all right. And they're like, but we're not good at acting. We can only kind of get piss and shit on. And they're just like, he's like, doesn't matter. Just read the lines.
All right. Just one thing about him going to porn studios. That would be a great place to find actresses that are above age but look like teenagers.
So I think Craigslist. Like, I just don't think they had any acting before. I think it was like people were like, oh yeah, I could act. And they're like, let's give it a shot with this crazy person I met at the mall.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, every line here, including one spoken by him, felt like the person didn't fully read the script. They just got the line for the first time.
Okay, also, they didn't have a boom. I'm just like, I don't believe for a second they had a boom, because I feel like every director note was just, talk louder, we're not picking it up on audio. And then you get lines like, all right, I'm sorry. And that's like the opening line.
They probably just had like a boom set up in the room. Because again, he listed himself as as like what, the sound engineer. So but he's in almost every scene, and he's directing. He cannot physically hold a boom while all that's going on.
Oh my God. I think one thing he did really well is he subverts your expectations in every single scene of that movie.
But does he build up to that subversion?
No, it's just subversion for subversion's sake. Where like you get, okay, there's a scene where he just has a fight with his wife where he's like, please stop being a drug addict, please. And then like it cuts to another scene. He's like, I'm working on this movie or on this book or hacking into the database. He's never clear about what he's actually doing.
I think he's supposed to be working on a book, but he's actually hacking into a database like that. That's why there's that scene where he finally tells publishers like, I'm not working on the book, which by the way, fun fact, that scene apparently took 29 takes.
Really?
Yeah, that's on the IMDb trivia.
Wait, the throwing laptops part of it too? Okay, so at a certain point, he's just like, the wife comes up and she's like, I'm done. And then he's like, no, don't be done. And then he just starts like throwing papers all around the room. And she starts smiling and he like throws all 4 laptops off his desk. And you're like, okay, he's clearing the desk because he's going to pick her up and put her on the desk and do like a hot makeout sesh. But they just stay standing out, barely kissing, and he keeps just throwing stuff for the fun of it. He just keeps throwing shit and never subverting those expectations. You think it's going to be hot? No, it's going to be weird. It's going to keep being weird.
The thing is, it's like clearly he has a following. So there are people who enjoy him specifically for this style. I guess a lot of it is like how much of it is intentional, because like you have to be just like a weird person to continuously make these movies, and like again with the Tommy Wiseau comparison, I know for a fact Tommy Wiseau is a super fucking weirdo. Like I've been to a Q&A session he had. He is absolutely a weirdo. So I believe like someone like that could make The Room with full intention of being good. It's like just based on the interview I found, it's like all his answers feel too normal.
Wait, really?
Like I'm sure if I heard him say it out loud, it might sound weirder, but but like just reading it, it's hard to imagine just him being weird about it. Although like some questions, it does seem like he dodges.
Well, he has a job. He's ultimately an architect. And I'm just like, could you imagine? You're like, yeah, I just moved into this place. It's brand new. It's a classic Neil Breen. To get to your bedroom, you have to open a door in the ceiling.
It's a lot of like, because there are times like when they're in like when him and Leia are in that crate. I guess it's a crate together. Let's just call it a crate.
Are you talking about the garbage bag room?
No, not the garbage. We need to get to that. But I was gonna talk about like when Leia's kidnapped and she's trapped.
Oh yeah.
In that I don't know what it's called, crate storage unit, whatever. It's like when they're in there together. It's like it's like that's a shot in an environment that actually takes very skillful lighting to place it. So it's something where it's like it's just it's just a flash of, okay, he does know what he's doing at times. Like I do think he would benefit to just like shadow someone who really knows their shit.
Do you think Neil Breen wants to make a good movie, or do you think Neil Breen just wants to make his movie?
That's I think that's the thing that confuses me. I think he'd be fine making his movie now because he has an audience, and so he knows like, okay, if I keep doing this, people will watch. but I also feel like if if he keeps if if he keeps getting this reinforcement, I'm not sure if he's trying to be better how most artists are.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think he's trying to be better. I think it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, it's like a kid coloring outside of the lines, and you're like, it would look better if you colored inside the lines, and he'd be like, no, I'm coloring. It's you can't tell me how to color. And I just imagine him just scribbling outside the lines for this entire movie.
Yeah, and the thing is like the coloring outside the lines. That's a good way to like explore things, explore your own creativity, explore what you like instead of just doing what you're told to. But again, this is his third feature film. He's had time to learn new things, and he's just showing he just hasn't done that.
Well, have we watched any of his other films? I haven't.
I've only seen the trailers. Uh,
Are they better?
they seem on the same level, but also, so back to the garbage bags scene, because he keeps throughout the film he kept popping up this imagery of, yeah, first it was this book that was spray painted gold, and then there are times where it's like both him and, was it the actress that played Leia, were both just butt naked around this book, and I assume it was supposed to be like a black void, but it was just black garbage bags draped down. That never connected to anything.
Yeah, I really, for the life of me, had no fucking clue what was happening in that scene. I just like, there's so much of that where none of it really made that much sense. It's kind of like, all right, what was the book? Is that where he got all the government secrets from? What does The Rock do? Where'd it come from? What?
Okay, so The Rock, I'm fine with. I'm fine with the with just the explanation. The Rock is something mysterious that gives him powers, and everyone accepts that. But it's something where it's just like he keeps trying to add on to that. Where at some point you need to explain it. Like you could have built up to an explanation, or just like given small tidbits throughout, but it's like you can't add a whole lot of lore and still have that be a mystery.
Yeah, the desert scene got to me too, and like people kept breaking into their house, but no one would be there, and the paintings moved. There's like this weird ghost element to it. What was the smoke on screen?
Yeah, I assume that was like some sort of spirit, but I wasn't sure if it was supposed to like curse or bless them. Cause like I don't know if it cursed him. It just gave him powers.
Yeah.
And made every woman want to fuck him.
Dude, Breen pulls. Neil Breen pulls. That's a fact about him. I don't know. I'm just imagining him. Yeah.
I mean, his Wikipedia page mentions almost nothing about his personal life, so I don't know if he's married or not.
I doubt it. I just like wholeheartedly doubt it. I don't know what the plot of that movie was. All I know is at the end, he's uncovered the government secrets. And I don't know if he's still dating Leia. They don't explain who shot the sniper that was going to take him out. Do you remember the sniper?
Yeah,
the sniper getting ready to kill him, but get shot, and then there's no explanation. Was that Leia?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that was the spirit protecting him
with a gun. Also, how did Jim afford a Ferrari? Whose Ferrari was that? That's the real question for me. That was a nice ass fucking Ferrari.
No, I would believe Jim just has a Ferrari. Like,
does Neil Breen have a Ferrari?
I don't know. He gets distribution deals off some of his movies. Maybe one was enough to pay for a Ferrari, which good for him. Like,
I want to. Dude, now I need to find some of Neil Breen's houses. Like, I want to see a Neil Breen designed house.
No, what? No, what if his entire filmmaking career was just a midlife crisis for him?
I think that's the.
It's like it's just all one continuous midlife crisis. He made 2 movies, got some money out of it. It's just like, all right, now I can afford a Ferrari like a normal middle-aged man.
Okay, yeah, this. So I found a website called Neil Breen Films LLC, The Man, the Myth, the Movie. Neil's house in Las Vegas. Okay, yeah, so it's the pool scene. So that's his house where they have the pool party.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I want to see one that he designed.
Wouldn't it be funny if he was just the worst architect in the world?
I don't know. Or like, yeah, it'd be funny. But then I'd be like, how's he affording all these movies? Like, I kind of want him to be a really successful architect, and just like, you're like, how'd you go from that to this? Like, I wanted you to be like, I don't know.
Like, he's just one of those people that would consider themselves a personality hire where he just gets along with the boss really well. And that's why he hasn't been fired.
I want them to just be like, yeah, we're just using them for like publicity. People come in for Neil Breen designed houses, but we don't let them do that.
Yeah, it's like how Salt Bay opened a restaurant in New York, and then everyone who went there is just like, yeah, it fucking sucks.
Got $1,000 for steak with gold on it. Oh, all right, we getting into 3 points.
Yeah, our 3 concessions. My first concession, a lot of the movie was absolutely hilarious.
It's a good movie to watch with your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, yes, he does make really weird and decisions that defy logic, but because they're so weird, they are just so they're laughable. Because like all the characters, none of them act human, but they all act non-human in similar ways.
I like the opening scene when they find the rock. Neil Breen goes, "It's a magical day," and then they cut to Leah with an open notebook, and in it is written, "It's a magical day." And then later at the pool party, Neil Breen realizes that she's Leah because she has the notebook open to the page saying it's a magical day.
Yeah, which is crazy because like there's nothing else written on that page. And so the rest of it is just blank. Why is she carrying around that notebook?
I don't know. It's so weird.
And it's like, why use the notebook? They already had the imagery of her bracelet. They could have used that to establish she was Liv.
Okay, another weird, funny thing is they get out there and like there's the mushroom, but also there's just like metallic rocks all by the mushroom. And she's like, I'm going to use this for a bracelet. No explanation for why there's metallic. It's not like she dropped them by. There's just beads by the bracelet, which I guess is ghost stuff.
I don't know. Did she also get powers? What would her powers even be?
She writes really well. She has really good penmanship.
No, what if that's the explanation of why she looks fucking 23?
This script I don't think was edited once. I think he just kept writing until he got to the end and then like closed it and handed it off to the actors and actresses. I don't think he took a look at it. I don't think he fixed punctuation. I don't think he went like, all right, maybe instead of saying committed suicide 5 times, I should say kill myself. Or how could you kill yourself? It's just committed suicide 10 times in a row. You got some positives?
Yeah. David Silva, who played Jim, was actually a decent actor. Like given what he had, I think he did well. If you told me only one cast member read the full script and actually understood it, I would believe it's him. Like, I wouldn't even choose Neil Breen if you gave me that option.
He had the one line in the movie that seems like it was written to be funny on purpose, where she's like, oh, you get more pleasure out of being with your car. And he's like, more than I got from you. It's like, that's a quip you would find in a sitcom.
Yeah.
I think he ad-libbed it.
You don't think Neil Breen was just a comedic genius in that moment?
No. Neil Breen is such a creepy looking fuck. He makes me want to jump into a pool of acid. Everything he does is so fucking creepy. Like, oh my God, everything he does is like what a child predator would do.
Like it, I mean, the thing about like especially when it came to the underage girl wanting and sleep with him, it's the fact he, as a like 50-year-old man, wrote that and put it in and had to make all the decisions for that to happen. It really is just like, why do you really want this?
Dude, he's got like that scaly skin and he's always licking his lips real creepy. Creepy fucking dude.
That's a big obstacle for independent films, because it's not Hollywood. People look normal, and you can't and not hot megastars.
Well, and I think that it like adds this weird context to everything that's happened. I think if you had a different actor who like played it the exact same but just looked different, you'd be like, oh, okay, this movie kind of makes sense. You're like, here's this charismatic guy who hacks into government. You'd be like, oh, he's an everyman. He can do everything. But you're like, Neil Breen does it. And you're like, did he like fuck kids to get this power? Like, what? It's such a, man, he freaks me out.
Well, yeah, it's because like he's not particularly a good actor. And so like he doesn't know how to come off as charismatic or caring, because I do think that also comes through in the writing, because it's like it's a major thing that his wife has a pill addiction and he seems to do nothing about it except complain occasionally.
He's just like, stop. And she's like, but I love them, they make me feel good. And he's like, oh no, but stop. That's a 2-minute scene in the movie. It's just them going back and forth. Oh my God. Okay, wait, can we talk about just 1 second? He goes to the psychiatrist in the boardroom and then he ends up leaving that psychiatrist. And I guess to get like opposites going, he meets with a new psychiatrist in a room that's just like a broom closet. Like their knees are touching. And both the psychiatrists talk about like, this is a brand new psychiatrist. And she's just like, you've been coming to me for years. You were so inspired by that first book and now you're struggling, but it'll all work out. It's like this weird supernatural. It's like going to the Oracle in the Matrix.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought one of them was a psychiatrist and the other one was a therapist.
That could be it.
Yeah. And so it's like he just needed one to essentially give him meds.
Yeah, I don't know. But why, dude, every choice in that movie is so weird. You got a third point?
Yeah. All right. My third one is that it is genuinely inspirational to see like someone on that level build a following. Like, not even being sarcastic. That like the fact Neil Breen would just using his side money to make this film happen and get it out there is a testament to his work ethic and willpower.
Yeah. Most people would be humiliated. Most people would be embarrassed and give up after one film, but not Neil Breen. Neil Breen just powers on forward, making crazy movies that everyone enjoys.
Yeah. I mean, he's an independent filmmaker. He's he's clearly doing this for passion, and he makes movies for no one but himself.
He's a classic auteur. That's what I'm trying to say. He's like Wes Anderson. He's like Wes Anderson. If Wes Anderson, Wayne Anderson had like a brain injury or something. You know that TikTok trend where it's like bouldering, but if shot as if it's like Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
I want to see that, but with Neil Breen. This podcast, but it's Neil Breen style. So like we're like, hi guys, but like as we're talking, it's just a slow pan left to right.
Yeah, it's like there are awkward pauses between every single statement in our conversation.
All right. My last point. I think if he could, he'd have shot the movie as one continuous pan that goes left to right. Like, I think it would have been like all the dialogue would have been finished off of one pan left to right. And then you would have hit the wall, and then it would have just gone into a different room left to right. And it would have done that for an hour and 45 minutes.
Honestly, probably not a full hour and 45 minutes, but like to do that for a scene or two, I think that would actually be pretty cool to look at.
You think that would help it?
Maybe not this project, but I could see like using that for some other project, because to just pan left or right, because I think like one of the Paranormal Activity movies did something like that, and it's like you could just add new stuff to the same scene that like and that adds new context or surprises the audience.
That's the third one with the kids where he sets it up on an oscillating fan.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was, dude. I fucking love those movies, but I don't know if we can. We should get the last one because it's so fucking stupid. All right, sorry, I got off track. You want to get to the closing statements?
Yeah.
You want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll do that. All right. So I genuinely believe this is the best Neil Breen could do. He just couldn't do that much. I understand him being short on professional resources, but there are better uses of those resources that he does have. The film shows an unwillingness to improve, enabled by a fan base who doesn't push him.
Fateful findings is weird. It's so fucking weird. It's a weird story made by a weird man who did nothing but make weird choices. It's unique. There's nothing else like there out there like it, and I just want you guys to go see it. I highly recommend it. It's not bad. It's like enjoyable. I watched an hour and 40 minutes of it and was smiling and happy at the end. It's a good movie. It's just fucking weird, and the only way to describe how weird it is that it's bad. I think before we go, we should do like a little housekeeping, in the sense that for a while we're not going to do any movies that are made by big studios due to the actors and writers strike.
Yeah. So so in solidarity with the strike, we are not going to be releasing episodes discussing movies from struck companies, and that includes 4 episodes we have already recorded but haven't released yet. So once the strikes are over, we're going to release them. But in the meantime, we're going to be covering films that aren't from struck companies, so a lot of independent films, some foreign features.
It'll be more weird stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be stuff where you're like, I've never heard of that. And you're like, and I'm happy that I never did. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Also, there's going to be an episode with Waterworld. We're going to talk about how it was what came out on our birthdays. It was actually supposed to release around today because today's my birthday. And we got this since we recorded this today instead. So it's all good.
Yeah, we're just gonna release War World in like December whenever strike ends, and just get sudden DMs like happy birthday.
All right, well, that's the podcast.
All right, yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.